Dongguan, once dubbed the factory of the world, had a manufacturing industry that was unparalleled globally. It is said that in the past, for every 4 smartphones worldwide, 1 was produced in Dongguan. For every 5 computers globally, 1 was made in Dongguan. For every 5 wool sweaters and every 10 pairs of shoes, 1 was manufactured in Dongguan. However, that brilliance is now a thing of the past. Today, Dongguan is visibly declining at an alarming rate. Factories are closing, unemployed workers are found wandering the streets, and brick-and-mortar stores lack business. Everywhere you look, there's a scene of desolation.
We're in Chang'an town of Dongguan City. It's the end of August now, and all the summer workers have left. Let's see if there are any factories hiring. I'm at the entrance of a factory, and man, I'm shocked. The doors are shut tight. Looks like they've gone out of business. This factory seemed pretty big too. Wonder why they closed down? Such a shame. Many factories in Dongguan survived 3 years of the pandemic, but they didn't make it through 2023. We're in Dongguan's Kyoto town. Right next to us is the Paktak Knitting Garment Factory, one of the bigger Hong Kong-funded garment factories around here. Look at these buildings, all worker dormitories. I heard at its peak, they had over 6,000 people. Now these dorms are almost all empty. It's such a shame to see such a big factory end up like this. I'm currently at Holicity Fashion City in Dongguan's Humen town. Most of the shops here are shut down. It's 5 p.m. now. Normally, this place would be packed, but now there's hardly anyone around. Humen is famous for its clothing, with factories producing everything from high-end to budget outfits. People from all over used to come here to shop, but now it's pretty quiet. So many storefronts are closed. Back in the day, it used to be hard to even get a spot here.
The numbers back this up. Dongguan's economic growth in the first half of this year ranked last in Guangdong province at a mere 1.5%. Zhaoqing and Maoming, the second and third slowest, were growing at nearly double that rate at 2.9%. Nationwide, based on the Chinese government's figures, China's average GDP growth was 5.5%. Out of the major cities that have released their numbers, only Xiamen in Fujian province is behind Dongguan. Just 2 short years ago, in 2021, Dongguan's GDP had just surpassed the significant milestone of 1 trillion yuan. This made it the 4th city in Guangdong province after Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Foshan, and the 24th city nationwide to achieve this level of GDP. However, by 2022, Dongguan's economic growth began to slow down. Last year, its total GDP stood at 1.1 trillion yuan, marking only a 0.6% growth year-on-year, while the entire Guangdong province grew at 1.9% in the same period. Currently, among the 24 cities with a GDP exceeding 1 trillion yuan, Dongguan ranks last in terms of economic growth rate. Dongguan truly earns its title as the city of manufacturing. Industrial production accounts for over 72% of the city's total GDP, with manufacturing making up more than 90% of that figure. Due to its highly developed industrial manufacturing sector, its dependence on the real estate industry is minimal. Thus, Dongguan's economic slowdown is distinct from other Chinese cities, and it isn't related to China's significant real estate downturn. Deeply intertwined with Dongguan's economy is its export business. As a major global hub for original equipment manufacturing, or OEM, its manufacturing sector heavily depends on export orders. Therefore, exports are the lifeline of Dongguan's economy. When exports thrive, Dongguan flourishes. When they wane, Dongguan declines. But in recent years, affected by the pandemic, the shift of industrial chains, and factory relocations, many Dongguan factories have seen a drastic drop in foreign trade orders. As a result, Dongguan's import and export trade has sharply decreased. In the first half of 2023, Dongguan's total foreign trade imports and exports amounted to 619 billion yuan, a year-on-year decline of 11%. Export totals dropped by 9%. In June alone, exports plummeted by 19%. Dongguan is renowned for its production of computers, communications, and other electronic devices. This industry, one of the 7 in Dongguan with a turnover of over 100 billion yuan, not only represents the city's industrial prowess, but is also ranked 3rd nationally, following only Shenzhen and Suzhou. However, during the first half of the year, the value added in the production of computers, communication, and other electronic devices in Dongguan decreased by 5%, and electrical machinery and equipment manufacturing fell by 7.4%. This negative growth in its core industry has noticeably impacted Dongguan's economy. Indeed, recent data from Dongguan's Statistical Bureau underscores a significant decline in the city's key industries. For instance, while Dongguan once produced 400 million mobile phones annually, making it a national manufacturing hub, this figure began to drop after peaking in 2019. Last year, the number was just around 198 million, dropping more than half compared to its peak. Foxconn's Dongguan factory has massively reduced hiring since last year. Rumor has it that parts of this factory has relocated to Zhengzhou in Henan, and other parts to Vietnam and India. Dongguan Chitwing Technology, a major supplier of mobile phone components in Dongguan, has also been affected. Due to a sharp reduction in orders, some employees have been put on extended leave for 3 months. The company, employing approximately 9,000 staff, boasts notable clients including Oppo, Huatron, Samsung, Huawei, and Google. Recently, Chitwing Technology announced that they anticipate a net loss of between 40.6 million to 53 million yuan for the first half of 2023, compared to a loss of 37 million yuan during the same period last year. Chitwing Technology attributed this performance shift to the ongoing sluggish demand in the macroeconomic environment and consumer electronics sector. The diminished order and shipment volumes, especially for smartphone-driven end products, led to a reduction in the company's revenue for the first half of 2023. On August 14th, employees of Guangdong Act Technology in Dalingshan Town gathered in front of the factory to protest. According to reports, while the workers were headed for their usual shifts, they were unexpectedly informed by management about the factory's imminent relocation. The entire workforce was required to comply, facing the threat of layoffs if they did not. Even more concerning, if layoffs did occur, the company might not adhere to local labor regulations for compensation. This sparked significant discontent, with many workers blocking the factory's entrances, demanding explanations and transparency. Founded in 2006, Guangdong Act Technology, a subsidiary of the CDL Precision Technology, mainly manufactures electronic components, including lenses, panels, cover plates, mobile phone protective films, and flashlight covers. Another testament to Dongguan's advanced manufacturing prowess is Songshan Lake, notably being home to Huawei's main factory. The real estate surrounding Songshan Lake is primarily centered around this Huawei facility, marking it as one of the priciest regions in Dongguan. Luxury residential areas within this vicinity has property prices soaring above 50,000 yuan per square meter. It is predominantly inhabited by Huawei employees. In recent years, following sanctions imposed by the US, Huawei has experienced a significant business contraction. This has led to recurring rumors of company-wide layoffs. This chain of events resulted in a surge of vacant properties around Songshan Lake, with properties remaining unsold or unrented. As per mainland media, the number of listed second-hand houses in Songshan Lake area is at an all-time high. Many homeowners, in a rush to sell, has been slashing prices continuously, some even incurring losses. This is another reflection of the decline in Dongguan's manufacturing sector. Aside from the electronics industry, the textile and apparel sector is also one of Dongguan's traditional cornerstone industries. The region houses numerous renowned clothing brand enterprises, as well as large dyeing plants, knitting mills, and factories specializing in outsourced production of apparel and footwear. These entities form a vital part of Dongguan's manufacturing base. According to data, in 2022, Dongguan's textile and apparel sector comprised 1,076 large-scale industrial enterprises, which are defined as those with an annual primary business revenue exceeding 20 million yuan. This sector generated a total industrial output value of 97.9 billion yuan, producing roughly 940 million pieces or sets of clothing and about 120 million pairs of shoes annually. However, in recent years, much like the electronics sector, Dongguan's textile and apparel industry has been impacted by global trends, facing challenges like supply chain shifts, declining orders, and factory closures. Indeed, it's not just the global environment. The textile industry in Dongguan had already suffered significantly during the 3-year pandemic period. The stringent zero-COVID policy implemented by the Chinese Communist Party resulted in overseas import raw materials getting stuck at ports and delays in the supply of essential materials for enterprises. Pandemic-induced factory suspensions and shutdowns led to unfulfilled orders. The export of products faced delays due to logistics constraints and rising shipping costs. All these factors contributed to operational difficulties for a vast number of textile and apparel businesses, with many even facing closures. In this video, Humen, a major hub in Dongguan's textile industry, is now facing many factory closures or production halts due to the downturn in the sector. Zhu Huaze, the executive vice president of the Humen Clothing and Accessories Industry Association, conveyed to the media that orders began to see a noticeable decline from the last quarter of the previous year, when compared to the same period in prior years. This year, challenges such as sluggish domestic sales and a downturn in foreign trade have plagued the Dongguan textile and apparel industry. Many businesses grapple with operational difficulties and dwindling profits, with about 70% of apparel enterprises experiencing negative growth from January to May. The European and American markets are the primary destinations for Humen's apparel exports, with the US serving as a significant indicator of trade trends for European and American apparel. This year, US imports of textile and apparel products from China have considerably reduced, severely impacting Humen's apparel and accessories industry. Following the US's emphasis on nearshoring, Mexico has risen to be the top trading partner for the US. In recent years, Mexico's manufacturing sector, including apparel and textiles, electronics, automobile production, and light machinery, has witnessed rapid growth. This has established Mexico as a key nearshoring base for the US. Compared to China, Mexico offers advantages in terms of geographical proximity and tax exemptions. Moreover, this year, Bangladesh is set to surpass China, becoming the world's largest exporter of cotton apparel. Due to its low labor and land costs, many Chinese clothing manufacturers have also relocated to Bangladesh. While the US is actively supporting Mexico, it's also the leading foreign investor in Bangladesh. In fact, US capital accounts for over 20% of foreign investment in Bangladesh. The continuous decline in export orders directly impacts the development and survival of the textile industry. On August 11th, Dongguan Xingming Apparel announced that, due to the challenging global environment, the company has been experiencing a consistent decline in overall orders this year. Facing significant operational losses and unsustainable conditions, the company decided to cease all operations and halt production on September 11th. Established in 1999, Xingming Apparel opened a new factory in Humen in 2016. They primarily produced knitted apparel, operated 16 production lines, and employed 300 staff members. On May 26, Dongguan Minghai Finishing and Dyeing Factory, a Hong Kong-invested enterprise, issued a notice to its employees. The notice cited the global economic downturn and extreme operational difficulties in the domestic textile dyeing industry as reasons for its factory's decision to cease operations. After thorough consideration by the factory's management, it was decided that all business operations would stop, and all employee labor contracts would be terminated by June 30th. This large dyeing factory, which had been in operation for approximately 30 years, had an annual production and sales volume that once reached over 25,000 tons. At its peak, the factory employed over 2,000 individuals. Its closure has been referred to by some as the end of an era. Dongguan's largest shoe manufacturer, Yuyuan Shoes, has now fully relocated to Vietnam. Yuyuan Shoes is a subsidiary of Taiwan's Po Chen Group and primarily manufactures high-end sports shoe brands such as Adidas, Nike, and Puma. The factory consists of 2 campuses and has a total workforce of over 300,000 individuals. Rumor had it that in its heyday, in terms of economic strength and employee count, Yuyuan could rival Foxconn, standing toe-to-toe. But now, the factory stands empty and desolate. Reports of closures continue to emerge from other manufacturing sectors in Dongguan as well. On August 1st, a Taiwanese invested enterprise named Dongguan Prestige Furniture released an announcement. Citing the unfavorable international economic environment and continuous operational losses, the company decided to cease its operations effective immediately and terminate the labor contracts of all its employees. According to publicly available information, Prestige Furniture had factories in both Dongguan and Vietnam. It employed over 1,500 people, producing high-quality rattan furniture exported to Europe, America, and Australia. The company's annual production value stood at $24 million. Another firm, a packaging factory in Dongguan that had been operating for many years, ceased all operations on June 30th. Apart from a few individuals handling the final affairs, the rest of the employees were let go on July 1st. As per the company's announcement released on May 30th, the primary reasons for the shutdown were a deteriorating business environment, reduced orders, and declining performance. Factories like these typically operate on slim margins but are of large scale, providing employment to a significant number of people. A single large-scale clothing and textile factory can offer jobs to thousands, even tens of thousands. The closure or withdrawal of these industries has a direct and immediate impact: a continuous rise in unemployment rates. The ripple effects of such shutdowns can have broader economic and social implications for the regions in which these factories are located. Since the beginning of this year, there have been continuous reports of workers in Dongguan earning as low as 8 yuan per hour. Furthermore, many jobless young people have been found sleeping on the streets, with some even taking shelter in drain pipes. In May, a netizen shared a video claiming that in Chang'an town at Dongguan, numerous homeless youth were living inside concrete pipes, leading what was described as a subterranean existence. Dongguan serves as a microcosm of the changes in China. Following China's economic reforms and opening up, Dongguan leveraged its geographical advantage being close to Hong Kong and Macau. Together with its abundant labor and affordable land prices, Dongguan became one of the initial beneficiaries. Dongguan relied on 3 imports and 1 compensation trade, that is, processing with supplied materials, processing with supplied samples, assembly of supplied components, and compensation trade. Through this trade process, the city solidified its position as the world's factory, experiencing rapid economic growth. While foreign trade exports have fueled Dongguan's miraculous growth, they also introduced significant uncertainties and vulnerabilities. Dongguan's rapid economic ascent is a product of globalization, with its capital, technology, equipment, and orders predominantly originating from abroad. This has led to a heavy reliance on external factors. Any shift in the external market can deal a devastating blow to the city. Similarly, the challenges China currently faces reflect its decades-long association with the title of the world's factory, which has been pivotal to the nation's destiny. As this status becomes increasingly uncertain, an inevitable economic slowdown looms.